Shalom and welcome back to Israel with Aline. Today a live broadcast direct from Jerusalem streets. We're going to start with a little bit of daylight that we still have now. We're going to watch the sunset and finish this live at night. So we have a lot to do and a lot of walking ahead. And today we're on King David Street, a street full of historic buildings. There's a lot of history here, and actually these are brand new stories. I've never told any of them on the channel. So I decided to do a live and share here about the main buildings, about the main stories that happened in this place. From explosions, wars, the United Nations, this street here literally changed the history of Israel. So we're going to walk and see all this history together, and besides that, it's a beautiful place. Jerusalem is beautiful, but this place here is really special. And before that, I have a few announcements, a few messages to give. So guys, I don't know if everyone knows, I imagine that I think some of you already know I'm pregnant. I made a little video here on the channel announcing that I was pregnant, but not everyone saw it. So I know sometimes I still catch someone by surprise. So just so no one is surprised today during the live, when I step away a little bit. So guys, I'm 5 months pregnant, just so you know that this is happening. And I haven't told you here on the channel yet if it's a boy or a girl. So if you don't know yet, you can make your guesses here and I'll tell you in just a second. So I'm pregnant, 5 months along. We already have Yair, who is our first child. Beautiful, wonderful, the most adorable thing. I usually can't bring him on the lives because otherwise every live would just be me running after him, but he's just the cutest. He has so much energy. He's really wonderful. 2 more things for you, and then I'll tell you if it's going to be a boy or a girl. The other thing is about the caravans. Guys, we filled up all our caravans for this year. So we opened 1 more caravan this year, which is the Israel caravan with Jorge in December. So there are special caravans with Jorge. There will be only 2, 1 in December this year and 1 in January next year. The January one is almost fully booked. So if anyone is still interested, guys, hurry up and get the information and sign up. If you want information about the caravans, guys, it's here in the video description. There are the links there. The first link will have the caravans. You can click and see all the prices, what's included, what's not included, so you can check it out. I keep clicking on the screen because it keeps wanting to close. I don't know why. But every time I do a live, there's a technical problem, so it's part of it. So we can get to our next live and also to reach our goal, which is 2 million subscribers, because when the channel reaches 2 million. We will raffle off another caravan, a free trip to Israel, so that's at 2 million. We're still not at 2 million yet, but we'll get there, God willing. And now, just to finish the last message before we start our tour today. So just to let you know, our second little one here, can you see? So our second little one, everyone, is another boy. So Yair is going to have a little brother. It's so beautiful. So we're going to have another child arriving in a few months. We're very happy about it, and I also hope to share a bit of our joy with you. My dad, Jorge, who is here on the live, is the most doting of all. He is always happy celebrating his grandkids. My sister has a little boy, I have one, and there's another on the way, making 3 grandkids in the family. But now everyone, let's grab our phones and start our walk because we have a lot to do together. So let me get my things here. Let me turn the camera so you can see a bit of Jerusalem. Let's go. So everyone, look at this beautiful place where I am. Here we have 2 historic buildings. There's the King David building, the building of King David, and we also have the Young Men's Christian Association here. And we're going to talk about both of them. But let's start here with the King David building. You can see, guys, this time of day is my favorite. You can see the sun. It's reflecting on the building and it gives it this golden color to the city. So this color, this time of day, many buildings start to reflect and the city looks golden like this. So that's also one of the reasons why the city of Yerushalayim is known as Jerusalem of gold, because at this time, just before sunset, the city starts to look really beautiful and illuminated. And an interesting thing is that all the buildings, both the oldest and the newest, are built with this local stone. This is actually a law. In 1917, when the British conquered Israel, they created a law that all buildings in Jerusalem should be built or at least covered with local stone. And that's why even modern buildings, relatively modern, we're talking about 100 years, are built with these stones. Even when we see skyscrapers, you can see 20-story skyscrapers in Jerusalem. In some neighborhoods, they are covered with stone, so the whole city has the same color. I'm just passing by here to show you an art gallery. Look how beautiful it is. This street is also known for having art galleries. There are some that are for antiques and there are some that are for modern art. This one, as you can imagine, is for modern art. So here there are glass sculptures, painters. There are many that have this. This one looks like, can you see that it has a visual effect? It's actually a painting, not a screen. But let's go to where we've really decided to go, which is the King David Hotel, the building of King David. Let's go to its entrance. So today we're going to take a walk together in Jerusalem. The story of this building that I'm going to tell you now is a story that has some very beautiful parts, but also some very tragic parts. Many people died here in this building. I'm going to tell you everything now. Let's go. We're almost here. We've reached the entrance. Look how beautiful this is. Do you see it? It looks really, really nice. You can really see the golden sunlight at this time of day because this is the normal color of the building, and this part here is with the sun's reflection. This is the King David Hotel, the Hotel of King David. It was built in 1931. It's one of the first hotels here in all of Jerusalem, in all of the Holy Land. You can see there are several international flags here as well. And this hotel has seen a lot of things happen. So what I want to do now is to set the camera here and sit down to talk with you and hope that no one from the hotel comes to complain that I'm here in front of the hotel doing a live stream. So let's hope. If the security guard back there comes to talk to me, let me know. So guys, the hotel was founded in 1931 and it was founded to be a luxury hotel. And even today, guys, it's still a luxury hotel. I mean, when we think about the best hotels in all of Israel, this is definitely the hotel that comes to mind. And it's not just about the luxury, it's also about the name of the hotel. I mean, it's a hotel like the Copacabana Palace in Brazil, a traditional hotel where all the celebrities and important people stay. So, for example, when presidents, kings, and important people from other countries come to visit, they stay here. So presidents like Obama, for example, also Madonna, the Dalai Lama, all the big important figures in the world, when they come, they usually stay here at this hotel. And this hotel, guys, also literally had kings staying here, and there was even a king who ruled from here. Not the king of Israel, but the king of Greece. This place served as the administrative center, as the capital of Greece. What's the story? In 1942, yes, everyone live, for those who are asking. That's why I'm here all... Thank you very much, Ramon. I'm here all hidden away in a corner doing the live stream. I don't know if they're going to like me doing a live stream here for too long. In 1942, guys, Greece was invaded by the Nazis and they deposed the then king, whose name was King George II. Not King George of England, but King George of Greece. And King George will be deposed, and then the king flees from Greece and goes where? He actually comes to Jerusalem. Of all the places in the world he could have chosen, he actually comes to Jerusalem and he stays here in this hotel, and from this hotel he will govern Greece. Actually, it will be a government in exile. He will theoretically govern, but in practice the ones who ruled Greece were the Nazis. But then for a few years this was the center of the Greek government. But in the end, what happens? We know that the Nazis really ruled Greece until 1945, and then there was a reform, and Greece nowadays is no longer a kingdom. So King George and his descendants reign to this day, but the last place they really reigned, or one of the last places, was here, from Jerusalem. So it's interesting that this hotel served both kings and even governments. But there's a story that's not very nice that happened here, and it's usually a story we hesitate to tell or aren't sure how to tell. But I think since we're here telling the hotel's history, it's important for us to mention it. And it's the story of the attack in 1946. Let's go back in the timeline, everyone. In 1917, the British conquered. And then in 1946, the one who ruled this whole region here, everything that is now Israel, was England. England ruled then literally a quarter of the world's lands, among them the Holy Land. And they didn't want to leave Israel, so in 1946, and they didn't want there to be a Jewish independence here. The Arabs didn't want the British here, the Jews didn't want the British here. It was pretty much every man for himself and everyone against England. For 30 years, plus this fight against England and England not accepting Jewish independence, they went after and persecuted anyone who sought Jewish independence. So all the groups that tried, for example, to bring Holocaust refugees to Israel, to promote Jewish immigration to Israel, to build new cities, to prepare a future army, anything related to the creation of the State of Israel was forbidden. And anyone who was caught doing this was arrested and hanged. So imagine that the British used to hang Jews in Israel, some here in Jerusalem, and also several in Acre, in the city of Acre, in the north of Israel. So there's Acre in Brazil, but there's also Acre here in the north of Israel. So what happened is that there were these persecutions of Jews by the British. I can even, guys, recommend a video I made here on the channel about a secret ammunition factory. I think I posted it around May, so if anyone wants to look for it, search for May. What did I do? About this secret factory, which was actually secret from the British, because the British couldn't know. If they caught anyone making ammunition to defend Israel, that person would be killed. And here in Jerusalem, it was no exception. Any Jew who was caught seeking Israel's independence, not just Jews, but any local person who was caught seeking Israel's independence would be killed, and many were killed by the British. And where was the British headquarters in 1946? The King David Hotel. They also take the entire southern part of the hotel, which is the wing on the other side. Let me show you all that part over there. They take it and turn it into a British headquarters. So this is where the general stayed. This is where the high command of the British Army was, and also where all the files were kept. Not all, but the main files were here. And these files held information about who the Jews were, what they did. All this secret Jewish apparatus was being kept here. And one of the groups, which was the most militarized among them, one of these Jewish groups seeking independence, called the Irgun decided to put an end to this headquarters here. There were several groups that sought the independence of Israel. For example, the Palmar was one of them, the Ghana, the Irgun, the Etza. There were several of these organizations. And the Irgun decided to blow up the part of the hotel that was the headquarters. The other Jewish groups were against it, but the Irgun said, no, we're going to do it. So they brought a huge amount of explosives, placed them in the south wing, in the basement, which was the wing where all the documentation and all the British generals were. And then what do? They called the hotel. Consider this. In the past, technology was limited. In 1946, they set the explosives with a timer, a little clock showing how long until it will explode. So they put up the sign and called the hotel to warn them, look, we put explosives in the hotel, you need to evacuate the hotel. They warn the British that the building is going to be blown up and ask for everyone to be evacuated. And the person who answers the phone at the hotel, what do? They think it's a prank and hang up the phone. They call again and they keep warning. They warn they can't come here in person, but they call and warn and send messages that there are explosives in the south wing and that the hotel should be evacuated. And what do the hotel staff and the British think? That it's a lie. The Irgun people ask them to evacuate, they don't evacuate, and this argument goes on until the timer runs out. And the south wing is going to explode without the hotel being evacuated. I mean, the idea wasn't to kill people here. The idea was to evacuate the hotel, evacuate the headquarters, so that all the files would be destroyed, so that all the information they had about the Jews would be destroyed. But unfortunately, it wasn't evacuated. Even though several calls were made, several requests to evacuate, and 91 people died in the explosion. No one evacuated. No one took Irgun seriously. And that's what happened. It's a terrible chapter in Israel's history. It's difficult to empathize with others. I mean, literally, these documents were used to kill Jews. Some of them, in fact, were about Holocaust events. These documents were used to prevent... I'm checking if he's approaching me. These documents were used to prevent Jews from entering the land of Israel. So a number of things, but in the end, it ended up causing, not directly or intentionally, but it ended up causing the death of 91 people here. So it's really a part of history that's not pretty, but I think it's important to be told. I'm going to stand up now and show you a little more of the building. Meanwhile, just a second. Let me turn the camera here. So look here. The hotel obviously was later restored and reopened. So nowadays, when we look at the south wing, which is the wing that was blown up, we don't see any trace of it anymore. But it really happened. And here we can see the entrance to the hotel. You can see that it's written here in 3 languages. The main language at the top is English because the hotel was built during the British Mandate. It's written in Hebrew on this side and also here in Arabic on this side. So I'm not going to go inside because I also think the signal might drop. But the hotel's architecture is beautiful. They also have cafes and restaurants here. If anyone ever comes to Israel, you can stay here. It's a bit expensive, but you can also just come and have a coffee at this hotel. Historic. Do you see how the sun is already setting? Now only the very top part is golden. And now we're going to the other side of the street, which also has a very important historic building. We can already see its tower now. Itapetiringa. I must have said the city's name wrong, sorry about that, but shalom to the people of Itapetiringa. So shalom everyone. Yes, we are live today everyone. I decided to go live today, which I can't always do. So today I decided to do something special for you and show the streets of Jerusalem at sunset. Let's wait for people to pass so we can cross the street. Here we go. So we're arriving at the Young Men's Christian Association. There's a song called Young Men's Christian Association. What is the Young Men's Christian Association? What is the IMCA? The Young Men's Christian Association is the Young Men's Christian Association. So it was built, and it is still a Christian building here in Jerusalem. It was founded in 1933, so not long after the hotel. And it is a very important center here in Jerusalem to this day. And here we can see, including the purpose of this place, that the builders, again, there's English mixed in because it was built during the British Mandate. So here, this is a place with an atmosphere of peace where politics and religion will be forgotten. The goal is to remember political and religious conflicts, not forget them, religion, but rather to forget the disagreements between religions. And the idea is to be a center for promoting peace. Its architecture is gorgeous, so let me show it to you here. Look how beautiful this is. This is a tower, guys, that we were able to see on the horizon in Jerusalem. It also serves as a hotel today. The building contains a restaurant, hotel, and other amenities. I'm gonna give you a demonstration now. Thinking that this building is a Christian building, there's a statue here of a woman with a water jar on her head. Who is this woman? Who knows? Come on, let's think, everyone. Who could be a woman dressed in traditional clothes with a jar on her head? It's not Maria Magdalena. It's not Martha. It even makes sense, the story that a woman washes Jesus' feet with a bottle of perfumed oil, but in that case it would actually be a small bottle. That is a large jar. Let me sit here with you. Let me sit here and turn the camera. Oops. Here, I sat down for a bit. With pregnancy, I need to sit down a little during the lives, but she's here behind me. So I saw that a lot of people got it right. Could be Rebecca, actually. It would make perfect sense for it to be Rebecca, but in this case, this woman is the Samaritan woman. Next week, if everything goes well, we're going to show you the story of the Samaritans, the Samaritan woman, and also the Good Samaritan. So stay tuned for next week. But for those who got it right, congratulations. So there is the woman, the Samaritan woman, and the idea is exactly that. Here I have a lamb by my side, and the Samaritan woman represents Jesus meeting the Samaritan woman. But what is the Young Men's Christian Association? It's YMCA, it's the Young Men's Christian Association. The Young Men's Christian Association is a center for young Christians, not just for men, but it's a center for young Christians. Each center is different from the other, but here it's for everyone. It's for men, women, and also people of all religions. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all come here because it was founded to be a place of peace and coexistence. It also has a large sports center here, guys. It's the first soccer stadium in Jerusalem. It was founded here, so I'll see later if they'll let me in. I'll go around back and show you. The first soccer stadium in Jerusalem was founded here. It was created together with this place, so in 1930 and it had a capacity for 6,000 people, which, if we think about it, was almost 100 years ago. It's a lot, considering that the population of Jerusalem was small. And it was the only soccer stadium in Jerusalem until 1991, guys. Until 1991, the only soccer stadium in all of Jerusalem was right here behind us. More stadiums were built later. Today, Jerusalem has the huge Teddy Stadium for soccer, similar to the arena-style stadiums found in Brazil. Those big stadiums. And that's why in 2006 they took down the stadium that was here and turned it into a park. So I can show you where it used to be, but the stadium doesn't exist anymore. So here is the first soccer stadium. The first heated swimming pool in Jerusalem was here. So it was a major sports center up until today. I know it doesn't look like it when you get here, but it also has underground floors. It has a huge area in the back. So here there are swimming pools, there was a soccer stadium, there's a park, there's a hotel, there's a restaurant. There are a lot of things here at the Young Men's Christian Association. So he's an employee, but he's cool with me. So I'll see if I can get in and show you a little bit. And I also hope the signal doesn't drop. We have a problem in Jerusalem. Well, it's not really a problem, but it's a reality. Like I said at the beginning of the live stream, all the buildings in Jerusalem are built or at least covered with local stones. So when you go inside the buildings, the signal often drops because it's like going into a cave. So you go into the cave and the signal drops. I'll try to go in. If the signal drops, I'll come back out. If not, I'll return. But I just wanted to let you know about that. And other things that happened here, actually, literally right here, were important. Let me see here. This place was important for the creation of the State of Israel. Let's go. So we learned in 1917 the British conquered Israel. They were completely against the creation of the State of Israel. But then after 30 years, they see that there's nothing here that interests them. They see that there's nothing here that interests them. They see that there's no oil. They see that there's no gold, silver, diamonds, nothing that they considered important and valuable. They don't understand the historical and religious value of Israel. And yes, they were looking for things they could also take and bring to England. So they see that it's not a profitable place for them. The Jewish population, both the Jewish and the Christian population as well, the Jewish and the Arab Muslim population didn't want them here. And that's why they decide to withdraw. The British announce, look folks, we're tired of you, we're leaving, but you can't just leave and abandon the land. You have to think about what you're going to do with it. And then the responsibility for what should be done with the territory is handed over to the United Nations. So that was in 1947, and in 1947 the United Nations sends observers, and where do the observers stay? Here. They're not fancy enough to stay across the street, at the King David, at the 5-star hotel. They stay here. They travel all over the country too, of course, but this is going to be the headquarters for these observers. And here they're going to sit and create the plan to partition Palestine. That means they take the map of the whole territory and divide it into 3, actually. So they divide it into 3. One part will be designated for the State of Israel. One part will be designated for an Arab state that was supposed to be created but wasn't. And the third part will be dedicated to whom? No, the guy was very nice. He asked if I was from Romania. I said, no, I'm from Brazil. Romanian and Portuguese are very similar. He asked if I wanted to go up the tower, but I declined to keep the signal. I doubt that if I climbed a stone tower, climbing one of these stone towers all the way to the top, the live stream wouldn't drop. But I'll at least go to the courtyard later. I'll go there to show you a little bit inside. But getting back, they divide the territory into 3. Half for Israel, half for the future Arab state. A small area, Jerusalem and Bethlehem, is designated to remain under United Nations control. There are quite a few. They say, this is for you, this is for you, this is for me. They want to keep Jerusalem for themselves. After all, who wouldn't want to keep this here? The plan will be created here in this place. The IMCA here in Jerusalem. So here they will literally come, sit down, and write and draw the map. So here they will draw the map that will later be taken to a vote at the United Nations, and thanks to the Brazilian Oswaldo Arana. This plan will be approved because the plan is created here. Then it has to be voted on by all the countries, and thanks to Oswaldo Arana, the plan will be approved, and thus the creation of the State of Israel is allowed. What ends up happening in the end is that the plan is approved. Israel accepts the plan, declares its independence. The Arab countries and the local Arabs do not accept the plan and attack Israel. And then the map that was created by the United Nations ended up not happening in practice. I mean, what they had created ended up not happening. Part of the territory ends up becoming Israel, as we know. Part of the territory is conquered by Jordan. A large part of the territory is conquered by Jordan. And a part of the territory is also conquered by Egypt. And so that original plan never actually comes to fruition. But thanks to that document, Israel can, legitimately at least declare its independence before the other nations of the world. By the way, what ends up happening is that Jerusalem is going to be divided in two. The city of Jerusalem, half will be in the hands of Jordan and half will be in the hands of Israel, and there will be a division of the city. And soon the border passes right here next to us. So in a little bit I'll show you the place where the border used to be. But for now, let's walk a little. So let's go. Let me turn around for you. So over there is the King David Hotel. King David Hotel. And here is the Young Men's Christian Association. So let's see if we can get in. Everyone, act natural. Look how beautiful it is. If the signal gets bad, let me know, but it's also a beautiful place to stay here in Israel. And you can see the super classic architecture of this place. So someone asked here why the name of the State of Israel. The name of the State of Israel is exactly because the people of Israel lived here for a long time. This place was called Israel. We have different names. One of the names Judea, another name was Israel. During some periods, the whole territory was called Israel. So the territory changed names several times. But in the end, they decided to keep the name Israel, which was one of the biblical names of this territory. Here, look, people are coming here to take pictures, the look of the girl. And here, this land that we're seeing, and where this building is built nowadays, all of this used to be the first soccer stadium in Jerusalem. Nowadays, there's a little water fountain, a park. You can see people walking by in the background, also with balloons, people passing by. Here, look, shalom to the adventure folks in the United States. Let's go back inside the hotel. I think these doors with the glass are beautiful. Yes, for those who are saying it's clean here, in general, Israel is very clean. So we can see that. Here we are seeing the founders of the hotel, important people from the time of the British Mandate. And the only thing I still haven't managed to understand in this life, that maybe one day I'll ask the staff here, is why the stars? 5-pointed stars here on the window. I would understand if they were 6-pointed, but I don't understand why they're 5-pointed. So if anyone knows how to explain it to me, tell me in the comments. Hey guys, to go up to the tower, I'll have to take the elevator, and there's no chance this live stream won't disconnect. I apologize for not being able to get up there. If I can come back another day, I'll record it and post the recording so it works. And here, just take another look at the beautiful facade of this tower. Look how beautiful it is. I'm reading a few of your comments here. Oops. So let's go. Now we're going to continue our walk down this street. This street, guys, what's it called? It's called King David Street. Why? Exactly because of the hotel. The hotel is older than the street. You have to remember that there was practically nothing here when these buildings were built, because we're outside the walls of the old city. So this was a very open area. When they were built, there was almost nothing here. And that's why the hotel was built. And then when the street was officially established, they decided, hey, what street is that? That's street of the King David Hotel. And that's why the street was named King David Street. So let's keep walking. Allison person wants to come to Israel. So guys, whoever wants to come to Israel is invited to join our wonderful caravans. We really strive to make it a transformative and unforgettable trip. We have the Israel caravan with Aline, the Israel caravan with Jorge. We have evangelical and Catholic caravans. There are several options for you to choose from.
And that's it.
For those who are asking where I'm from, for those who don't know me or who are new here on the channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Aline. I'm Brazilian from Rio Grande do Sul, just like Oswaldo Aranha. And I've been living here in Israel for many, many years. Let me show you a tour happening here. I've been living in Israel since 2007 and I officially immigrated in 2009. So there's a school trip happening here, and it seems to me that they're from American schools, American Jewish students, but I might be mistaken. So let's cross here. And for those who mentioned earlier that it's clean, you can really see that the streets are very clean. A few things. My original idea. I was thinking of showing you a food festival in Hygiena, but today on Sundays there isn't one, the food festival. I'll see if I can record a little bit of it during the week to show you, maybe make a little extra video. And for those who don't know, everyone, we actually have 2 channels here on YouTube. A third one is coming, but I won't share details today. What the third one is about, but our second channel. On our second channel on YouTube, it's called Mini Israel with Aline, where we post mini videos and little things. So I posted there this week. Actually, I'm going to post it today at the end of the day. About a toilet from the time of Jesus. Literally a toilet. If you don't understand, it's a bathroom from the time of Jesus. So anyone who wants to, guys, you can go to the second channel to check it out. To see more stuff, if just the Sunday video isn't enough, we definitely post other things there. I posted a lecture. I posted other random things there. So here, every Sunday, there's either a video or a live, and there in the middle of the week, there are also a few more things. Right next to us, there's a beautiful park that we're going to enter in just a second. I'm just going to the corner to cross at the crosswalk. And we're going to take a walk in the park. Here is our bus stop. I don't have a car, so I rely on buses here. And one thing I really like that they've had here in recent years, all bus stops have the line number written on them. Line 13 goes to Talpiot, which is written in Hebrew, but will soon be shown in English and Arabic too. It arrives in 4 minutes. 4 minutes, and then again in 16 minutes. So that helps us a lot when we're here, because you arrive and you know exactly in how many minutes the public transport buses are coming. We can also know exactly in how many minutes it will arrive. The apps tell us in real time, because all the buses have global positioning system inside. So the buses, the global positioning system transmits to some system. I don't understand the system, but it sends the location to the system. And that way they can calculate exactly in how many minutes it will arrive at each stop. Because sometimes you plan something, but there's a traffic jam or some other hindrance, so that's it. Let's go now. We're going to pass the traffic light in just a little bit. To cross the street, and you can see here another group of tourists passing by. So here, look, we are at the main intersection here in Jerusalem. an intersection. There's also another fancy hotel here. This one is the Imbau Hotel. Here on this street as well, over there is the Dam Panorama Hotel, which is also another hotel. This one is the King Solomon Hotel. I mean, we have quite a few hotels in this area of the city. So walk from Soviera Shalom, Shalom to Auntie. If the cars here are electric, there are electric cars, but most of them aren't yet. So most of them are gasoline cars, like we know. What there are a lot of now are electric buses. So there are bus lines where all the buses are electric. For example, line 15 here in Jerusalem. They are slowly replacing the diesel or gasoline buses with electric buses. So let me see. For those who are just joining us now, everyone, it's now 7:45 post-meridium, and we're going to visit one last place here. In Jerusalem. And it has a wonderful view. I ended up talking more than I imagined with you, and that's why I was a little late. My idea was to have arrived here about 15 minutes ago, but the conversation was good. So let's go, and I'm also a little slower because of the pregnancy, but it happens. So we are now arriving at Yemin Moshe and Mishkenot Sha'ananim. So Mishkenot Sha'ananim is the first neighborhood outside the walls of Jerusalem, and now I'm going to give you some homework. Let's see who can find the verse from Isaiah 32:18 and write it in the chat or in the comments. So whoever can. So what time is it here? It's 7:45 post-meridium. So everyone, come on, Isaiah. Who can put Isaiah in the chat? The verse from Isaiah, he says that God will give a dwelling of peace and comfort. So actually this neighborhood is called Mishkenot Shanim, which means the dwelling of peace, inspired precisely by this verse. Isaiah 32:18. And here we can see a windmill. Let me show you. Do you see the windmill? I'm going to count in. In a few minutes, the story of this place, which is so beautiful. And here is the carriage of the neighborhood's founder. So let me just find a little spot to lean on. To rest my phone. Here. Shalom, everyone. So let me tell you the story of this neighborhood in just a few minutes. The dwelling of peace. In 1860, everyone in Jerusalem lived inside the walls of the old city. The walls, guys, are 1 square kilometer, which is nothing. So the city was extremely overcrowded. And that means people lived in tiny, super expensive apartments without running water, with sewage running through the streets. It was a terrible time to live in Jerusalem with rats and diseases. And that's why Montefiore, who is an English Jewish philanthropist and the owner of the carriage we just saw, decided to start a revolution and build the first neighborhood outside the walls, which is where we are now. A neighborhood outside the walls might seem ordinary to us, but there's more to it than meets the eye. What's so special about that? Back then, being outside the walls meant you could be attacked by Bedouins or thieves. I mean, the walls served as protection. So it's like you were in the middle of nowhere, there was nothing and no one to protect you. So he builds the neighborhood, makes a mill that we saw. Look here at this mill. He also makes this meal to give people work. People. The idea was that the houses here in the neighborhood would be distributed for free. My house, my life, but 1860 here in Jerusalem. So the idea was to distribute the houses here for free for a period of 3 years. Each family could live here for 3 years for free. The idea of these 3 years was that the person wouldn't pay rent, would have money to save, to get organized, and to live in a better place afterwards. So they had a mill here for work because this windmill would grind wheat. So people could have a job here working at the mill and could live for free, save money. And a really cool project by Montefiore. And how many families decided they were going to live here in the neighborhood? 0. No one wanted to live here, not even for free. Because what happened is that no one wanted to live here, not even for free, because people were afraid. So Montefiore said, not only will I give you the houses for free, give you jobs, but I will also pay you to live here. And so by paying, some people started living here, and then people slowly began to lose their fear. And this here is the roof of the first house. And in the end, the project was a success. And as we can see here, later the neighborhood kept expanding and became a huge neighborhood, and it's really beautiful. And nowadays it's a wonderful place to live. And also, as you can see, a lot of people come here. Look, there are meetups. This couple, they're single and getting to know each other here. There's also another couple, so a lot of people come here for dates, families. Let me just pass through here. Let me pass through here. And it ended up becoming a really pleasant place. Over there, there are some balloons. People are having a party. So it started as a lower middle class neighborhood, a neighborhood with free housing, but it ended up becoming one of the most beautiful places in Jerusalem. And here, guys, this avenue, do you see it here? Do you see where the little roof is, like that zigzagging? Over there is another house in the neighborhood. It's a gigantic house that's divided into tiny, tiny apartments. They weren't luxury homes, guys. They were really, really small homes. There, look, you see another little couple on a date. So this is also a popular place for dates. Let me just explain something to you. In religious Judaism, and 2 of those couples we saw are religious Jews. Their idea is this: they go on dates before getting married, but the dates always have to be in public places. The couple will not be alone together until the wedding day, literally. Oh, guys. I think he's gonna propose to her. I think he's going to propose to her. It's the most beautiful thing. I'm not going to get much closer because I don't want to interrupt. But I think she's proposing to her. Look how beautiful the balloons. I didn't understand what they were. I thought it was a little party. Oh, how beautiful. They're really shy. I think I'm not helping much here, but I'll just leave it then. You're going to see the marriage proposal in the background then. I was happy for them. Religious Jewish couples won't be alone, just the boy and the girl, until the wedding day. That doesn't mean they don't know each other. That thing about meeting on the wedding day doesn't exist in Judaism, so how does it work? The groom and the bride will have someone who, from the start, a rabbi, matchmaker, or mutual acquaintance approaches the girl and says, I have someone to introduce to you. She's like this and that. What do you think? If he likes the idea, approach the girl and say you have a boy to introduce to her, describing his qualities, and ask what she thinks of the idea. The order doesn't matter. If both of them like the idea, a public meeting is arranged. This means they go alone, just the 2 of them, without family or anyone else, and agree to meet in a public place. So it can be in a place like this, a public square where there are people. It can be in a hotel lobby. People love to do this in hotel lobbies. So they walk around, have a coffee. There's no kissing, guys. For those who are asking here, look at the couple. For anyone who wants to watch, I don't want to stay close either because I think it's awkward. But what happens is they go and talk. Guys, just talk. The idea is to be in a public place so that nothing happens. They talk, and if they like each other, then they go to the person who introduced them and say, I like them, and they keep meeting, always in public places. And after a few meetings, when both think it's time, then they propose marriage. I know friends where the guy proposed after 2 or 3 meetings. Sometimes it can take weeks or even months. So that depends afterwards. And after a few months, usually after the proposal, after a few months, the wedding happens. The traditional thing is to get married 3 months after the proposal, but there are no fixed rules. The only real rule is that you wait until the wedding. My husband and I are a little different. I mean, we had dates and everything. Our first date wasn't actually in a hotel. It was in a restaurant, a place, a simple restaurant. But a restaurant, so also, and my proposal was also in a public place. It was actually at the Independence Museum. So, but another time, I have a video here on the channel. You can find more details about the story with my husband in the channel's history. But so actually I wanted to tell you about the war, about things, but I think we should end this live with a happy moment. So just so you know, if you want a video of our wedding, and for me to tell a little more, no problem, just leave it here in the comments and we'll post it for you. So we say congratulations in Hebrew, so congratulations to the bride and groom. I hope she says yes. But judging by her happy face that I saw before, I think she did say yes or is going to say yes. So this is the marriage proposal, then comes the engagement, and then the wedding. I mean, this isn't the engagement, this is the proposal. After that, they go to the families. Asking the family isn't required. He could have asked before or after. Asking the family for her hand is something I think is polite and in good taste. I think in most traditional cultures, it's the same here. So my husband, he also called later, talked to my father, asked for his blessing and everything. So that's how it works here. And here in Israel in general, this family thing is much, much more traditional than what we know in Brazil. I mean, people still usually go out. Dating here usually involves going on dates, getting engaged, and then married. Living together without marriage isn't common. People typically prefer the traditional path of marriage, wanting kids and a conventional family structure. So, do Jews only marry other Jews? Not necessarily. Most of them do, though. It's a personal choice. Like Christians. Most Christians in Brazil end up marrying Christians because it's their own culture, their own world, values they want to pass on to their children. So usually they marry, but for example, in Brazil nowadays, it's like 50% of Jews. I mean, Jews, both men and women, 50% of the Jewish community, they marry within the Jewish community. 50% of the community marries outside. In Israel, where most people are Jewish, Jews marrying non-Jews happens more often than the common belief that Jews only marry other Jews. In Brazil, it's 50%. Everything I did here today will be saved, but now I'm going to meet my friend. After an hour of live streaming, I'm now meeting my friend Monica from Destino Israel. Feel free to check out her Instagram later, Destino Israel, and you can also follow me on Instagram if you'd like. I finally managed, after all these years, to get the Instagram handle Israel.com/Aline. So now if you search for Israel.com/Aline, you'll find my Instagram. Until now, it wasn't under my name. Now it really is mine. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the new couple. Thank you to everyone who watched. And I'll see you next time. Next week with Samaritano.